Welcome back for another video. It's the final upload before the deadline as we catch up with the experts to find out what they're up to this week. It was a hectic Gameweek 32 with a significant number of chips active, and there are a few further chips active this week. In fact, we did catch up with a manager this week who's got the Wildcard active and he's got a draft to share later. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to follow this and other FPL content every week. Our top ranked expert has a new season high ranked. David Vo still leads the experts league. He's up to 74th in the world. He used the free hit in Gameweek 32, scoring 74 points. Well done if you were able to beat the experts average of 67 last week. A bit easier if you did use your free hit last week. We won't put too much pressure on David, but he has 6 game weeks to make up a 50-point gap to rank 1 in the world, I'm just saying. But honestly though, what a season he's having. The experts are coming into their own now at the business end of the season. We've got 5 experts that are in the top 1k, and we've got 25 in the top 10k. Off the back of the free hit, 62% are rolling the transfer this week, 3 single game weeks and 3 double game weeks left this season. If you can, Game Week 33 is a sensible week to roll, and then we get the double Game Week 34 where you can attack it with 2 transfers, or optionally 3 from -4 or even 4 from -8. I expect we'll see plenty of hits next week, with the biggest game week of what's left of the season in Game Week 34. 17% are making 1 transfer, 14% are making 2, 7% of the experts have a chip active, more on that later. We won't spend too long digging into their transfers this week, with fewer than normal. However, there are some interesting names to pick out here. Off the back of a brace against Tottenham, Isak has 7 goals in 7 games now. Newcastle's next to Everton and Southampton as well, plus he's got the double Game Week 36 on the horizon, where he might end up the best captaincy shout. For only 6.8 mil, he's one to have on the watch list if you're not picking him up this week. Jossa's been picked up by 3%, and he also scored twice last out for Liverpool. And Isak does carry some rotation risk, but so does Jota. Isak probably less so, as Klopp has lots of options available to him, so he is one to be careful with. In my eyes, Jota does get benched in one of the upcoming run of games. Greenwood's the cheapest forward in the game, only 4 mil, which tells us that some experts are shifting to a front 2 formation, likely a 3-5-2. An interesting shift for the run-in, but it does make sense given the quality of options in midfield. Game Week 34 we have the likes of March, Mitoma, McAllister, Rashford, Salah, Grealish, De Bruyne, Bruno, all players that we want, and there's only room for 5. So you either get a cheap playing striker like Solanke, or you just grab Greenwood and stick him last on your bench. Just make sure the other 2 bench players are reliable if you need to use them. Kane's the most sold player this week. We've seen this before, and it is always unusual given how consistent he's been. On the score sheet again last week, 24 goals and 6 assists this season, 30 goal contributions. However, it is all about prioritising for the run-in, and with no double game weeks, Haaland and Salah are the priority. The same can be said about Saka and Tony, who were also on the score sheet last game week. But looking at the run-in, there are double game weeks for other assets. So a quick update on the chip usage, and then we've got a wildcard to share as well. 7% of the experts have got their wildcard active this week. If you've still got yours, it's a very strong week to consider using it, because you can set up for double game week 34 and beyond. However, if your team's set up fine this week, there's no reason to use it now. You can wildcard straight into double game week 34 instead if you need. Some of the experts do have other chips left as well, so if you're in the same position and wondering when to use it, the free hit's probably best used in Game Week 34, failing that Game Week 37, or perhaps even Game Week 38. If you've still got your triple captain, then using it on Haaland or Rashford in 34 or 37 is logical, both being double game weeks. If you've still got your bench boost, then likewise either of those doubles makes the most sense. Azalak has his wildcard active right now, and he shared his team with us. He finished 63rd in the world last season, which is seriously impressive. His team is as follows. He's got De Gea in goal, a back 3 of Trent, Shaw and Trippier. In midfield, Mahrez, Mitoma, Salah and March. Up top he's got Haaland captain, Jota and Enkiso. The bench is Fabianski, Grealish, Lindelof and Soufal. It's a very different wildcard draft to one that I've seen anywhere. Let us know in the comments what you think. And here's what Azalak had to say. With only 6 game weeks left and some climbing to do, it's time for my wildcard. My team will be stacked up with players having 2 matches in double game week 34 as I plan to bench boost. This team should provide a good balance of attacking and defensive assets. At the moment my team is fairly template with a couple of punts on Enkiso and Mahrez. I don't fancy the Man United attack without Bruno and a tough match schedule, so I'm putting all of my eggs in one basket and hoping for some low scoring United games. I really want De Bruyne in my team, but I can't see a way to get him in without sacrificing my Liverpool players who are in hot form. Thanks very much for sending in, Azalak. Let's move on and look at how the experts are looking for captaincy this week. A massive 92% on Haaland, 5% on Salah, 2% on Watkins, and 1 manager's on Mitoma captain. Mitoma is a very interesting one, which comes from Tall FM, who is counting for 3 top 10Ks in a row. He's currently 33k. Looking at the fixture schedule from here to the end of the season, we are running out of opportunities for captaincy punts if you're chasing. Haaland's likely to be everyone's favourite for every game week from here on, but with Salah against West Ham, Watkins against Fulham, it's certainly a chance to try something if you need to. Timing is going to be key on this one though. Man City do have a packed schedule, and Pep has 2 Real Madrid legs to juggle before the end of the season. Perhaps one of the game weeks next to the Champions League is the week to try it, particularly when an alternative player is projected to score the same points. If you're in a solid position and happy to consolidate, then Haaland is the answer for the next 6 game weeks. We're all in different positions at this point in the season. Some are targeting a certain rank, looking to chase, some are looking to catch up in a mini-league. Onto the experts team for Gameweek 33, comprised of their highest owned players, and the team is as follows. It's Kepa in goal, a back three of Estepinian, Trippier and Botman. The midfielders Martinelli, Mitoma, Rashford and March. Up top it's Watkins, Haaland and Kane. On the bench it's Raya, Bruno, Chilwell and Shaw. Depending on Bruno news, you'd probably start him over Martinelli. However, he was withdrawn in the FA Cup early, and his wife shared a photo of his leg in a brace, which doesn't look promising as far as this game week. Salah doesn't quite make the team this week, but expect him to join in Game Week 34, and it'll probably be Kane that drops out. The ownership percentages will be back in Game Week 34. Due to the sheer number of free hits active last week, the percentages are skewed and won't be useful this week. So as usual, we ask the experts to send in any tips and thoughts for the game week ahead. Root Cause says, use your transfers wisely, don't be afraid to roll this week to target Game Week 34. The same can be said as we edge towards Game Week 37 too. Hot Knights United says, Liverpool keeps conceding, but their creative and scoring players are back on the menu, another double game coming up just in time. Joey was one of the few Watkins captainers, with a bit of club bias creeping in. He says, as an Arsenal fan that knows this is our last chance at the league, I know the game will be an open one, but I just can't captain Haaland against us, Watkins it is. Marco says, with such a short turnaround between game weeks, I expect a bit of rotation from some managers this week, so make sure your bench order is correct. If possible, try and save a transfer ahead of the next week's big double game week. Barcelona says, free hit 38 anyone? FPL Augur says, I believe it was the philosopher Candy Staton who once observed, things go wrong no matter what I do. She may as well have been referring to this wretched FPL season I'm enduring. I'll be transferring in Salah for the possibly injured and definitely points dodging Bruno. And lastly, Rugster says, how long until the cricket season starts? That concludes episode 32 of The Experts. If you found it useful, please hit a like before you go and subscribe to the channel for more content every week all season. See you soon for the next one.